Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Let's Talk Elephants. I'm your host, Destiny Farley, and today I'll be interviewing my good friend, Sarah Timpa. Throughout college, Sarah was navigating a pretty toxic relationship and some other stressful health factors, and actually ended up developing an eating disorder during this whole process. The DSM-5 defines an eating disorder as a persistent disturbance of eating or eating-related behavior that results in the altered consumption or absorption of food and that significantly impairs physical health or psychosocial functioning. I asked her to come on and share her struggles and during the hardships of that relationship and some of her health tribulations and just the overall isolating experience of having an eating disorder, which she feels many people still do not understand to this day. So before jumping into my questions, Sarah, can you just briefly introduce yourself and start by sharing a little bit about where you felt like your eating disorder began or originated from?
Okay, so hi, my name is Sarah. I have lived in Las Vegas my whole life, and I went to college. I went to NAU for college, and now I'm back. I've been back about a year now.
So where this happened out in Arizona. Like this is where you like first had the experience of dealing with the eating disorder was in Arizona.
Yes. So during college, just about my sophomore year, I went out of the country and came back with salmonella. This made me very sick for about 6 months while we were trying to figure out what was going on.
Yeah, because they didn't tell you.
They told me it was anxiety that was making me so sick.
Well, what were your symptoms though when you came back?
Like throwing up every single day. Like I couldn't even eat. Like I just felt so sick all the time, and yeah, no doctor for some reason could figure out what it was until I went and had a procedure done because they thought it was something more serious, and found out it was just salmonella.
And that you lived with it for 6 months.
Yes, so that was hard because my eating habits completely changed. I was living off of Ritz crackers and Gatorade and
the brat diet.
Yeah, the
brat diet.
The brat diet, and probably within like 6 to 8 months, I started losing like a significant amount of weight, and everyone around me was like, wow, you look so good. And granted, I wasn't overweight to begin with. I never had any problems with my body. I thought I looked great. I never had an issue with it. And then all of a sudden, everyone around me, especially my ex-boyfriend at the time, I'm not going to say his name, so we'll just call him Zach. Zach and everyone else in my life just kind of made me feel like it was a good thing.
And you looked better than you did before.
I looked better. In reality, I was sick, and that kind of messed with my head. And I was like, okay, I should keep this up because once I healed from the salmonella, I was able to eat normally again.
How do you heal from salmonella? What did they do? Did they just give you antibiotics?
Yeah. It was just antibiotics, and in a week I was completely fine.
So then you just started eating like normally, or how did you eat after?
Well, it was hard to kind of jump back into, eating 3 meals a day. So I ate 2 meals a day for probably a while, and it was hard because my brain was telling me like, you look good, like let's try not to eat as much as you used to, blah, blah, blah. I would go to the gym every once in a while, just my college gym, but I would go on an empty stomach and it wasn't even doing anything. Like in my brain, I was like, I need to stay like this. Like I look good.
When you say like people around you were telling you that you looked good, who like just like family, friends, your ex-boyfriend?
I mean, it was people like, when I hadn't seen them in a little bit, they would notice, and my ex-boyfriend thought I looked great. And
what type of comments like would he make about?
Well, even before this happened, he had made a couple comments about like the extra fat on my stomach, and I'd never even like noticed that before. And so now he was saying, your stomach's a lot flatter, like you look good. But he did make comments about my boobs and my butt and how I had lost weight in those, and
it was like. There were still problems.
There were still problems. I'm like, okay, so you wanted me skinny, but now you miss my boobs and my butt. Yeah, you can't have everything. So that was messing with my head a lot. And starting birth control in college also fluctuated with all of that stuff. So
So what do you feel like your relationship with food started to look like after that? Like, when did you feel like, okay, something's not right with the way that I'm eating? Like, what were some of the symptoms that you feel like started that made you realize you had an unhealthy relationship with food?
Well, honestly, I was using sleep to limit my meals and smoking weed. I would smoke weed so I could fall asleep, and I would take
Doesn't
naps.
weed make you, like, hungry, though? Like, it didn't make you want to eat more?
It would, so I would just, like, smoke so much that I would just pass out and fall asleep. I would do that during the day, like, take a nap so I could skip lunch or do it, or sleep in using weed or skipping dinner with it. But I would try to skip at least one meal a day just because I didn't want my weight to change. I'd weigh myself every day. It was very unhealthy, but I mean, everyone was telling me I looked so good, so I didn't really see a problem with it until a doctor was like, you are 5'10", you should weigh more.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And that's when I started, going to the gym and trying to repair my relationship. But it's still hard to, eat in front of other people. Like, people I don't know, I don't really feel comfortable eating in front of them because I still will, like, limit myself to certain foods. And I just don't want people to, like, I feel like when I'm eating in front of people, they, like, are judging me, which I know is not true.
Well, that's a part of the disorder. It's like, in the definition, when it says, like, it impairs, what does it say? It says psychosocial functioning, right? So that means, like, your brain, the psychology of your brain in a social setting, right?
Yeah.
So in a social setting, normal people are like, I'm just eating and I know that no one is watching me eat and no one gives a fuck what I'm eating.
Yeah.
But when you have that type of relationship with food, it changes that perspective. And would you say that it's like a guilt or a shame around eating? Like, that you feel for yourself?
Yeah, like, it wasn't fun to eat anymore. It felt like a chore. It felt like it was something like I had to do so I wouldn't die. But I really, like, I wasn't enjoying food at all anymore, to be honest.
Do you feel like you developed the eating disorder mainly because of the salmonella or because of the toxic relationship or because of, like, just the overall approval that you were getting from people around you? Like, do you feel like there was one thing that really stood out, or you just feel like it was everything combined?
Well, there were a lot of factors going into it, but I think it was just the losing a bunch of weight in a significantly short amount of time. And, having a partner that I was spending a lot of time with telling me nothing was wrong, and his family, too, telling me how great I looked. And
that's a real thing. That's a real thing. Because when you're with your partner, you want to make them happy. You want to feel, like, attractive to them. There's so much research on, like, I've talked about this on so many different episodes, but on female sexuality and the root of what makes women want to have sex and makes women feel sexy. And it has everything to do with, like, feeling desired by their partner. It's actually insane. Like, it doesn't even have so much to do with how attractive they are. It has to do with how they make you feel about yourself.
Yeah.
So if you don't feel desired by your partner, especially when, like, you still love them and, maybe it's just a comment here or there, it doesn't feel like it's enough to up and leave because, it's not like he's calling me fat or saying, like, you're ugly, but it's like microaggressions, I guess. It's very subconscious and subliminal, and it's a little comment here and a little comment there. I feel like I just went through that recently where, the person I was with was more attracted to people that had a little bit more weight on them.
Yeah.
Maybe some extra fat in the stomach or, like, really wide hips, a lot of, like, meat on their thighs. And I'm 5'9", so, and I've always, like, worked out and stuff, and that's, like, just not my build.
Yeah, it's not my build. Type. Yeah.
Even if I were to stop eating and stop working out and just let myself go and try to get big, I still wouldn't really look like that, because when I store fat on, like, my love handles, and I get, like, chubby in my thighs, but I still have hip dips, so it's not, like, very hourglass. It's just, like, frumpy, and it's weird but it made me feel insecure about like being in shape. It made me feel like,
which is crazy.
Oh, should I not have abs? Like, should I, which sounds like so terrible to say, but like it's a real thing, you know, like people can get into your mind, and it's just little comments, or if you see them liking something on Instagram that doesn't look like you, or, you know, I remember it was a similar situation where we had a conversation and I was saying like, like I had just got back from vacation, and so I didn't have, you know, I felt like I didn't have muscle on me. I was skinny. I felt like anorexic, you know?
Yeah.
And I was sitting there and I was like, yeah, you know, like I just don't feel good. I need to get back in the gym, put muscle on. Like I'm losing my ass. And, you know, he made a comment about, like, I was saying how, like, if I eat bad and don't work out, I just get extra fat on me.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, I'd like if you had extra fat on you. Like, I'd like, and I'm like, I get, like, a little pooch in my stomach. And he's like, yeah, I like that.
And now you're thinking.
And
like,
now that's been in my mind since it happened. That's literally been in my mind since it happened. I'm, like, so self-conscious about being too skinny, self-conscious about losing weight, you know, and
we don't want to be too skinny. We don't want to be too fat. They just want to be able to mold us into the person that they want.
And, like, that's, you know, that didn't happen for, like, a long period of time or anything, but it's real. Like, human beings still have, no matter what anyone says about not caring what people think of them, like, we do care about what people think of them, of us, especially when we're in a romantic relationship and we're talking about our partner desiring us. Like, that has so much of an effect on our self-esteem. Like, even if my, you know, and then, like, on top of that, my family was saying I look skinny.
Yeah.
You know, like, you look skinny. You need to eat.
And that's the worst.
Yeah. And it does. Like, you internalize it, and it makes it really hard. So I don't remember if you answered the question already, but do you feel like it was because of your relationship primarily, or more just everything combined?
I think it definitely played a significant factor in it, but also just the validation I was getting from everyone really just helped. And I mean, my family telling me I looked skinny too. I had gone to see my family for a celebration they were having, and family I hadn't seen in like a year was like, wow, you look so great, you look so great. Little do they know I was sick, you know, and all these comments were just fueling the eating disorder, making me like think about it more and more.
Yeah. So no one knew, like, does anyone else in your life know that you struggled with that, like, to this day? Or does everyone, like, it's kind of like no one knows still?
I kind of really only shared it with my close friends. It's not really something I like to talk about. It makes me kind of anxious, as you can tell.
Well, I appreciate you doing it because, you know, other people that struggle with it, it's probably the same thing.
Yeah, so many people struggle with this, and you don't even realize, like, in different, you know, someone doesn't have to look super skinny to be dealing with an eating disorder. You know, eating disorders look like so many different things that you don't realize how many people are struggling.
When you told your friends, like, how did they react to it?
Honestly, I had a pretty good support system of friends that, you know, tried to help me eat and, you know, help validate me. And, you know, once I said that I don't like all the comments about how skinny I am, like, that was all stopping. And I felt like I had a good support system, but at the same time, I was still, like, battling with myself. I think it was mostly, like, all these factors happened, but now it was just an internal battle because now I'm just dealing with it myself, and everything had already happened. So it was kind of just, a battle with me at that point.
Your parents still don't know?
No, it's not something I really wanted to talk about with them. They obviously noticed, like, I was getting skinny, and they came from more of, like, a worried place. But I mean, with my family growing up, that was always something that, like, we talked about, you know, like, our bodies. That was something that seemed normal to me, you know, body comments.
To just be hyper-fixated on it?
Yeah, to be hyper-fixated on your body and what you look like. And I know that stems from, you know, I know that some of my family members have also struggled with stuff like that, and they don't even realize that they have had food struggles like that. But it just became something normal, something that we just talked about, and, you know.
So if it was normal to you for so long, like, what was a turning point like how far into your eating disorder, or at what point did you realize, okay, this is abnormal, this isn't healthy? Was there like a certain moment, or did someone else say something to you like, oh, you need to get help, or like read about this?
I had a doctor tell me that I should gain, at least 20 pounds because of like my bone density, my bone health. I didn't even realize that, eating disorders can cause organ problems, bone problems. Like it can cause it can cause infertility. It can do a lot of things. And it started to scare me. I want to have kids one day, and I want to be healthy enough so I can have a family and all that stuff. So kind of scared me, and my friend Destiny here got me into the gym, and the gym honestly was just really great for me because it somewhat eliminated the guilt I was feeling from all the eating. So now, it feels like, oh, I'm eating and I'm going to go to the gym and build muscle. So it kind of,
so you're allowed to eat.
Yeah, I'm allowed. Yeah, it helped my relationship with food in general, because it's just like now it seems more normal to eat because I'm trying to build muscle. And so
when did you see that doctor that told you that?
That was when I moved back here. So
that was when you knew me, or
yeah,
before?
It was like right when I had met you. It was like about a year ago.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Not to I went on a little bit of a tangent, but did you like avoid talking to your parents about it because you were like scared of how they would respond, or did you just feel like they wouldn't understand, or it wasn't necessary? Did you feel like they were going to be like too involved in the issue, or what kind of prevented you from sitting them down and having that conversation like head on?
Well, honestly, it's not even something. It wasn't really something that I understood. I was struggling to grasp, what was really going on. Like I knew I was struggling with some sort of eating disorder, but I had been seeing a therapist and doing all the right things. So I just didn't feel the need to like sit them down and worry them more than they already worry about me. And I knew it was something I would be able to like, work on, and they've always been pretty supportive. So I wasn't really like, I don't know, just wasn't something I felt comfortable talking about with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's like a lack of education among families and friends about how to support someone with an eating disorder, or just eating disorder knowledge in general?
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people really know like how to help someone who is struggling, because it's like, oh, you can say, oh, eat, eat.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, like what is that going to do?
Well, I had no idea how to help you. Like you had told me pretty early on in our friendship that it's something that you struggled with. And I would say by and large, like I'm pretty empathetic, and I'm a person that, like, I read psychology shit for fun.
Yeah.
I just
yeah,
like.
You're weird.
Fuck you. I just like that stuff. Like I like knowing about how the human brain works. I like, just kind of being aware of why other people do what they do, and really just how to help them. But eating disorders were something that I had like relatively no knowledge on. I think I had read maybe a chapter on it in high school, So when you told me that that's something that you were struggling with, I had to ask you like, okay, well, what do I do to help? And, you had to explicitly lay it out for me. Like sometimes I just don't want to eat, and you have to force me to eat.
Yeah.
And that was abnormal for me. I'm not saying like you're weird for it.
Yeah.
But I remember being like, I have to force her to eat. Like I have to, like she says, no, I don't, I think I'm just going to go to bed because I'm depressed. And I'm like, no, we're going to eat.
And that would help me too, because eating wasn't something super exciting for me. So when you're like, oh, let's go get food, I'm like, oh, okay, like I wasn't even planning on eating tonight, so that's exciting.
Yeah, well, because then it becomes a social thing.
Exactly.
And like you're with a friend.
Eating that's just something in it. Eating by myself is hard. Like I really like cooking, but can't cook for myself, and that's what's great about having like now like being in like a healthy relationship, being able to like cook for someone, and like we're both eating together. Like when I was cooking for myself, it's hard because I don't feel like I deserve it. Like it's hard to explain, but I Like, I feel like I need to be doing, like, eating with someone else to feel comfortable, to be honest.
So you still struggle with it, like, a little bit, like, every once in a while?
Like, sometimes I struggle with eating alone, but I have, like, a comfort meal that I'll make when I am not comfortable, and that's pretty much the only meal I'll eat when I'm alone, and yeah.
Well, and
I am pretty
you're
weird.
picky as hell.
Yeah, that's another thing. My relationship with food has always been weird because
Were you picky before the eating disorder?
Yeah, but even more after, because I'm like, I don't know, trying new things freak me out. When someone tries to pressure me to try new things, like Zach, my ex-boyfriend, he had a bad habit of that. You know, we'd be in public with people that I'm not super close with and being like, oh, try this sauce. And I'm like, you don't, like, that doesn't seem like a big deal to other people, but me, like, I don't, like, that makes me super uncomfortable, especially in front of other people. Like, I don't like trying new foods in that capacity. Like, I need to feel comfortable and, like, with people that I feel comfortable around to be able to do that.
Why are you, like, afraid to try food in front of other people? Do you think that they're gonna, like, judge you for being picky, or, like, what is the thought there?
I don't even know. It's like there's so many thoughts. This is like it's always something that people really like Chick-fil-A sauce. You know how many times people have tried to get me to try that and I never have? Like, it's like in my head, like, I don't know. I'm kind of like scared of it. It's like a fear food. Like, there's certain
it's like
things.
A phobia.
Yeah, there's just like I'm comfortable with the things that I eat, so I don't really want to, like, I don't like feeling uncomfortable with food, so I try to just stay with what I normally eat so I can feel comfortable. But it's something I'm working on because I want to be able to try new foods and be more open with it, but I definitely need to be with people that I feel comfortable with to do so.
Yeah. What would you say is, like, the hardest part of living with an eating disorder, or what was, like, the most inconveniencing thing? Does it have to do with, like, the social aspect and being picky and, like, having to choose from a limited menu? Is it the mental health aspect where, you know, you don't feel good enough, or you don't feel skinny enough or pretty enough? Is it the physical aspect? Like, do you feel tired all the time? Like, what was the most difficult part of dealing with that?
Honestly, going out to eat with people who always want to try new restaurants, like, having to look at the menu beforehand and, like, I like modifications with my meals. I'm afraid to do that in front of other people. Like, just the whole thing, like, eating out with other people is just something that I've gotten better at over time, but that was hard because people didn't really understand, and like, sometimes I would go with them and not even want to eat, and like, it was hard to explain, and I just kind of felt embarrassed by it because I'm like, they probably think I'm so weird, and I'm like, I don't even know what's wrong with me. I don't know how to explain it because I had never dealt with this before, and so I was like, it was just my brain. Like, I just kept saying, this is the way my brain works now. Like, something just switched, and my brain started hyper-focusing on my relationship with food and my body and all this and this, and yeah.
So is that, like, how it made you feel about yourself? Like, it just made you feel like something's wrong with you?
Yeah,
like, out of place?
And I felt like I was hurting myself because I kind of was, you know, I wasn't eating a healthy amount as I should. I wasn't getting any exercise. Like, I wasn't doing anything that was healthy for me. You know, I was vaping and, you know, just doing all of these unhealthy habits, and it didn't feel good, you know, not to eat, not to work out, not to do all these things. And so now I'm doing so much better now that I have this routine. I go to the gym, I eat before the gym, and I eat after the gym, and I have dinner. So it's like, now that I have that routine, I am able to eat. But if I do not have time for the gym, I end up only eating 2 meals a day because I feel like I don't deserve that third meal, which is something that is silly because I don't need to go to the gym every day. I deserve a rest day every once in a while. But it's something that is just with my brain. It's just normal to me now.
Yeah, well, and I feel like that's indicative, you know, that you still struggle with that mentality, right? Yeah. Because even though, like, your relationship with food is better now, it still shouldn't be, like, contingent upon a routine. You know, that can be something that helps you. That can be something that, like, makes sure that physically you're okay. But, like, let's say something were to happen where, God forbid, you were to, like, break your leg or something, right? And you couldn't be in the gym for a few months, or you wanted to get your boobs done, and then you're out of the gym for 3 months, you know? It's like a mentality thing. It's a mindset where if you're still fighting those thoughts where you're like, oh, well, I didn't work out today, so I don't deserve this, you know?
I can't in that case.
Yeah.
Because...
and even I struggle with thoughts like that sometimes. I feel like that's also a part of being disciplined and, being used to your routine. When you fall out of your routine, you do feel guilty, and that's what helps. That's a part of being disciplined, but there is a fine line, especially like when you have a history of like already struggling with something like that. Did you like not want to wear certain clothes because of how you looked, or was it not so much about the outer appearance but more just like the eating aspect?
Definitely in college, because we would go to these football games, these tailgate parties, these frat parties, and me and my friends would get dressed and they want to wear the skimpiest clothes. I actually remember this one time, me and my friend, we bought these matching little tube tops to wear. And we had bought them, like, when it wasn't football season. We had bought them ahead of time. We were like, for the first game, we're going to wear them to tailgate. And we were both trying them on. And my friend at the time was also, like, very tall and skinny, a lot skinnier than me at the time. And she put it on, and I looked at her, and, like, no fat was here, no fat anywhere. And I look at me, and there's, like, fat, like, barely any, but it was like hanging over the shirt, and like my stomach didn't look as flat as I wanted, and I was like, oh, I'm not wearing this actually. And she kind of didn't really understand and was like, oh, like we had these matching outfits planned, like what are you doing? And I'm like, I just can't wear this, especially because the guy I was dating at the time, I just felt I didn't want him to, I kind of felt embarrassed because, like, all of his girlfriends were all really tiny, and, like, I was just comparing myself to everyone else and was like, I'll wear a shirt that looks better on me right now, which in reality, it doesn't matter, It was just my brain.
So was your eating disorder then for you about staying thin, or was it was it deeper? Was it about control? Was it rooted in something else? Have you not even really thought about it like that? Like,
it definitely became a control thing because I got really good at and at first it was hard to restrict myself from eating because I was hungry all the time. But then I got good at it, and I was able to control it. And
did you feel better, like feeling like you were in control of it?
In some ways, yes, but I also just felt this overwhelming guilt. Like, what am I doing? This is bad,
It just seems like it was, like, miserable.
Yeah.
It seems like there were no, like, every positive thought was followed with a negative thought.
Yeah, and then I started vaping because someone told me that it suppresses your appetite. And I was like, oh, cool, let's try this. And that also kind of, because I was doing better, and then I started vaping after like that breakup. I started vaping, and I started to get skinnier again, and like skinnier because it really does suppress your appetite.
And you were going through a breakup. How did the breakup?
Yeah.
Because that's interesting because you're in this relationship that, you feel like you need to be skinny for him, but then, you go through heartbreak and you can't fucking eat.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah,
it's like,
because that was like basically all of college that we were together, and then like just navigating life after, and trying to tell myself like that there are better guys out there, like there are guys that aren't gonna constantly comment on my body. I was just a little nervous after that, like dating again, because I didn't know if other guys were like that, or if like I wasn't gonna be appealing enough to a guy or whatever. I was just like a little nervous about that.
How does it feel when people make comments about your body? Like, is there any compliment or comment that you can get where it feels like, oh yeah, that made me feel good? Or does every comment that someone makes about your body make you feel like triggered?
I just feel like we don't even need to like comment on people's bodies. Like, there's so many other things we can talk about.
But you comment on my body.
Yeah, I tell you you're sexy and hot.
Right.
I want you to sit on my face.
Okay,
anyway.
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Like, is there something that someone could say where it would be complimentary to you and it wouldn't feel like, like a trigger, or like, oh, so does that mean I have to stay like this? You know what I mean?
Like, when people comment on my appearance in general, like, it doesn't bother me as much as when someone says, oh, you look skinny. You look skinnier. You look... or like when someone like looks me up and down and is like, oh, you look better, like you can tell their meaning behind it. But when someone's like, oh, like you look good, like, you know, when you can tell it's genuine, like because you look good, but you can tell when it's like someone's looking at you like, oh, you look skinnier, like you look good, you know.
So
that's just normalized to tell someone that they look good when they're skinnier. It's like a normal thing.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I do think that, I'm trying to think. I feel like when people, I don't know, because we're only speaking from our body type, right? So, like, that's a completely, like, unique perspective. I'm not, like, 5'3" and, like, morbidly obese.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, what that lifestyle is like. So, just speaking from, like, our experiences being tall and leaning more naturally skinny, right?
Yeah.
I feel like when people tell us that we look skinny, it's like an insulting thing. Whereas if someone were to tell someone who is historically bigger that they look skinny, then it might be more complimentary.
Yeah.
And when they're giving us a genuine compliment, it's more like, oh, you look really good. Like, you look good. Your body looks good. You know, like, I have people that comment on my body, like, incessantly. You know, like, in any, which I'm not trying to sound like stuck up. Like, that's not a bad problem to have.
To have a body.
No, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. But I will say, you know, like, I probably have an unhealthy relationship with how my body looks. And just haven't realized it because I've maintained it for so long. So I've never had to really deal with, like, the feeling of, you know, gaining a bunch of weight. I can tell you that when I lose a bunch of weight, I feel like shit. And I feel like, oh, you know, because I feel like I've been relatively objectified my whole life, you know? Like, even growing up, no offense to my family, but, you know, I remember being younger and them talking about my ass. You know, like my mom or I don't even remember. Like, they would just make comments about me having a big butt when I was little. And so that became something that I was aware of at a young age. And then, like, just going through high school and college, I really started, like, lifting and getting into weights and, you know, especially working in the clubs.
Oh my gosh, I can't even.
Like,
having to wear a bikini for work?
Yeah, it was a day club too. So it's the middle of the day and your whole body's out there, right? So many comments, like, on my body, on my butt, on things like that. So when I lose weight because I'm depressed and I can't work out and I can't eat, or I just went on vacation and, like, I'm losing some of my muscle, it's like this feeling in me where, like, oh my God, I'm losing a part of myself.
Yeah.
Which is sick.
Yeah, it is. But that's sick. That's like the way our brains are wired because we're so used to looking a certain way.
Yeah. And so then I'm, like, trying to force myself to eat more. Even if it's, like, bad food and it's all I can get down, I'm like, well, it's better to eat something bad than to not eat at all.
Exactly.
Because I don't want to keep losing. Shit, do I have an eating disorder?
No, literally. Like, it's so much more common than you realize.
Yeah, I mean.
And some people can have, like, disordered eating and not, you know, have an eating disorder. You know, there's so many different aspects to it, too.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't want to say that I've had the same struggles that you've had. But, yeah, it is hard for people to make, like, comments on your body, right? But I can tell the difference between, you know, like, I wouldn't say I've really ever been, and again, this might be, this is going to make me sound like spoiled or stuck up or whatever, but I'm just being honest about my experience. I wouldn't say I've had someone really, like, insult my figure, like, my body, how I look, except for, like, my family or or my friends or the people around me that know me and know what I normally look like, and it'll be, oh, you look skinny.
Yeah.
Like, no one's telling me, oh, it looks like you've put on some weight. They're saying, oh, you look skinny. Like,
which is just not something you want to hear.
I know.
You know?
I know. And when I was in Spain this past summer, you know, I'm not upset about it. It's no shade to, like, Irene, my friend, or anything, but I was feeling like I was getting skinny, like I could tell, because I wasn't working out. I'm walking all over Spain. It just was not good. And so we were taking pictures and stuff out there, and every fucking time, like, we would take a picture, I would notice it first. So it's not really, like, her making the comment. When she first got to my house and walked into the apartment, she was like, oh, like, you look skinny. Like, you look, like, tiny. Yeah. And I'm like, like, bad? And she's like, no, I'm not saying, like, you look bad, but you look like like fit like Alexis Ren type skinny. Like you just look different than how you looked the time before. And
then that just makes you start to think, like,
it
oh,
makes
what
you
did I
start
look
to
like
think.
before?
Yeah. And then I did. I went and started looking back
Mm-hmm.
at pictures of my body before to like see like, damn, do I really look that different? You know, I don't feel like I look
That's the
skinny.
thing, we don't see. It's hard to see for yourself, like when your weight is fluctuating like that.
Yeah. And I don't check my weight like that. Like, I don't pay attention to my weight anymore because it's more about how I feel, like, in my body.
It doesn't matter the number.
Right. And
I'm saying that, but.
And then every time, like, we're taking pictures and the less I'm working out, like, the further we get into, deeper we get into our vacation, I'm in bathing suits and stuff. She's showing me pictures and I'm like, no. I'm like, no, absolutely not. I look anorexic. You can see my ribs.
Yep.
And it became like this joke, you know, where every time I would take a picture, we would sing "In the Arms," like the whatever SPCA pet commercial because they're starving. Like, but I really didn't like how I looked, you know. And then I'm going back to see the person I was with, and then he's making comments on top of that about how, he would like to see me with extra weight on me.
Yeah, like.
And then yesterday, I'm talking to my mom, you look skinny. You look skinny, you need to eat.
Yeah.
And she says that because she's worried.
Yeah.
You know, she says that because she cares, and she knows that when I get into my depressive episodes that I don't eat. But it's like, you don't think I'm trying?
Yeah.
You don't think I'd like to be able to eat? You don't think I'd like to have something other than my fucking Ensure?
Your protein shakes.
I'd like to get it down. But I'm going through it, bitch.
Yeah.
So how about you cut me some slack?
Yeah.
No disrespect to my mom.
No, I can relate to that. My mom is always telling me how skinny I look. But it does come from a place of worry. Like,
yeah.
But it's like, we're doing our best here.
Yeah.
I know. Under the circumstances.
So when people tell you, like, that you look good, or, like, for example, when I tell you, like, oh, you're getting a dumpy, like, that doesn't bother you.
No, that makes me feel good because, like, I am going to, and same with, like, my current boyfriend, like, telling me, like, I see the results, you know? It, like, makes me feel good because I have been putting in the work. I have been eating more and going to the gym more. So hearing that, like, actually makes me feel good, which is good because I'm really trying not to obsess about being skinny. I'm trying to put weight on because I want to be healthier and stronger. So...
Well, and you're actively trying to do something and see those results. It's different when you're getting compliments on something that you're trying to do and progress that you're making versus getting compliments on something you weren't trying to do that was happening because you're struggling.
Sick. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Is there anything that, like, still triggers you today, like whether it's, like, comments or certain environments or, like, things you see in the media or that makes you, like, puts you back in that headspace?
I mean... all this stuff on social media is so ridiculous. I don't even like watching stuff about eating disorders on there because it's just it's so twisted and a lot of times like on TikTok it's like they're making it look normal to be this skinny and I'm like this is sick looking. Like some of these girls, you know, are trying to be so skinny like and because it's like a trend and I'm like this is not what should be trending right now. I hate seeing stuff like that.
Have you seen the comments, like, people make about, like, Ariana Grande and what she looks... What are your thoughts on that?
Like, how she looks sick and how she looks skinny and all this. It's, like... It's ridiculous. I can't imagine being her, being someone that has all these, you know, people watching her and all of it being publicized on the internet. Like, you know, she probably was struggling, you know? And to have all of everyone's opinions about her online is, like, I can't even...
Well, and, you know, what's so interesting is, like, people are so opinionated. People love to be, like, social justice warriors online. And it's like, what if she was struggling with an eating disorder? What if she was really going through something? And it's not like, you know, I think she had come out at one point or something because everyone was talking about it and said, like, something was wrong and she was like, no, I'm fine, like I don't need everybody commenting on my appearance. And then there was backlash where it's like you have young girls that are watching you and are like, you know, I do think she looks skinny, to be honest with you, like
she does.
And like but I'm not interjecting my opinion in there. They were saying like if something's going on, like you need to come out and you need to tell people like I'm struggling with something, this isn't healthy, so people think that like not to follow you, to not look at you as a role model.
It's just crazy. It's her business.
It's such a unique position to be in. It's really hard. Like, I can't, like you said, I can't imagine dealing with that on a global scale, And then it is hard because it's like, yeah, there is a little bit of a point where you do have young girls looking up to you. Mm-hmm. And like I remember, it's so crazy. I remember being in middle school, like in 6th grade, mm-hmm. and I was skinny. Yeah. Like, I was skinny as hell in middle school. Tall and lanky, and I hit my growth spurt hella fast. I was taller than all the boys in my class.
Oh, wasn't that
fun? And I had like this idea that I wasn't skinny enough, right? And I had a best friend at the time, and she was skinnier than me, and she was shorter than me, and everybody liked her and like had a crush on her in middle school.
She was cute and small.
Yeah, right? And I remember literally, like, this is so sad, but I remember being like 11 years old and standing up like on the toilet and like looking at my thighs and like pulling the skin back on my thighs to make them skinnier and like see what it would look like if I had less like meat on my bones, And I looked completely fine and was a healthy weight.
You were a child.
But like that was that time, mm-hmm. like that era where like the thigh gap was super big. Oh like God, I know where you think I'm a fucking dinosaur.
Yeah, back in your day.
Fuck you. But like Tumblr was super big.
What's that?
Do you actually not know what Tumblr is?
Do. Okay. It was a little before my time.
Yeah, that's crazy. But there would be like these pictures of these girls on Tumblr that were like so skinny. You probably don't even know who Acacia Brentley is, do you?
No.
Oh my God. But they have these big thigh gaps, like, in between their thighs, right? And as I got older, like, into 7th and 8th grade, like, I started to have that because mm-hmm. I was, like, getting skinnier and playing sports. And, like, I used to remember being like, oh, my God, I have a thigh gap. Like, I'm relevant now. Like, I'm
just crazy. Like, why does it matter?
Like, as a young girl, too. And that's before social media was even as big as it is now.
Yeah.
So I just, like, I cannot even imagine what it's like for people this age, And so back to what I was saying, like, there are young girls that are probably looking up to her and seeing what she looks like and being like, oh, look, she's so popular. Like, she's so in Wicked. Everyone in my grade is, like, talking about her and saying how pretty she is, and I look nothing like her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that does get internalized.
For sure.
And so I somewhat understand what people are saying when they're like, oh, if you're going through something, you should let girls know that you are so they're not striving to look like you. But then it's also hard because she's probably struggling.
Yeah.
And who wants to come out and say, hey, guys, I'm depressed as fuck and I can't eat.
Yeah, like.
Don't copy me. Like, and she doesn't have that obligation either. Like, just because you're a famous person, like, no one says, you don't sign a contract to be like, oh, I have to report to the general public about all my mental health disorders.
Everything. No.
It's really complex. Do you ever feel like throughout the time that you were dealing with that, like, most heavily, did you feel like isolated? Did you feel like invisible because people were looking at you on the outside and couldn't tell like anything was wrong?
For some of it, yeah, because I was spending so much time at home because I was, like during the part where I had salmonella, like, I was just sick all the time, and I just, like, felt like I was, like, I couldn't go out to eat and go do all these things. Like, I didn't want to do any of those things, so I kind of felt alone. Like, I'm just, like, at my house, like, I would DoorDash sometimes or, like, make soup, but I would just be like, damn, like, it just wasn't desirable anymore.
Well, you felt so physically isolated.
Yeah.
What about, like, mentally? Like, did you feel just like no one understands?
Yeah, I mean, I had some people that were close to me that knew a little bit about it, but it really, like, I felt like I was talking to a wall when I was trying to explain it to anyone because and honestly, like, even hearing myself explain it, I'm like, I don't even really know what I'm saying because I don't understand I couldn't even really grasp all of it because...
Well, that makes it even harder. Like, to not be able to articulate what you're feeling and to still have to feel it.
Yeah, and then trying to explain it to people, like, I was like, I don't even know. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I'm not trying to eat right now.
Yeah. It's not funny. It's not funny.
Not funny. That's how we cope.
I know that, humor to cope. So I know you kind of talked about, like, the gym and eating more, but, like, what is your recovery process looked like overall? Are there certain practices or people, or, you know, has it been in steps? Did it all happen at once? Like, what does it look like for you to heal?
Definitely just trying to, you know, just putting myself out there more, you know, going to the gym, going and doing things, you know, going out to dinner with people, you know, just saying yes to things that make me feel uncomfortable have helped a lot. And having the support system, like even you and like my boyfriend and like other people that like are always making sure I'm eating, like my parents, like they'll always want to go and eat and stuff. So just having a sense of normality now in my life, like I'm kind of just, you know, the routine, getting into routine and just getting a routine with eating, like knowing that you're supposed to eat 3 meals a day, eating in the morning, eating lunch, and eating dinner. That kind of took me a while to get into, but now it's easier for me because I've kind of normalized it. And really, you know, unless I'm like struggling really like a lot mentally and like going through a depressive episode, like I am good about eating now. So.
Mm-hmm. Do you still see a therapist about it, or
Oh,
no?
yeah. I mean, I've seen a therapist since I was 15. And even she, I haven't told, you know, all of it to, because I mean, this is the first time I've really like said all these things out loud. Like I don't really like to talk about it because it's just like, I don't even feel like if I'm making any sense. Like to me right now, I don't think I've made any sense this entire podcast because I'm like in my head, I'm like, I don't know. Like I was going through so many different emotions and feelings. Like it was really hard to understand.
Well, I feel like a lot of people probably feel like that though.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why so many people don't seek help, not even just with like eating disorders, you know, but with any type of struggle that people are going through. I feel like one of the main reasons people don't reach out, whether it's a man or a woman, like no matter what the situation is they feel like, I don't even know how to articulate this, and even if I do articulate it, people are not going to understand.
Yeah.
And then it almost makes it feel like worse because you're struggling, you don't want to ask for help, you put yourself out there and do ask for help, and they don't fucking get it, and then you're like, oh, I never should have asked for help to begin with.
Exactly.
And it's like a negative feedback loop. So it's scary, and I think that that's why it's so important for people to, you know, like have awareness about what the experience is like, even if you feel like you're not making sense, even if you feel like, oh, I said one thing and then I just contradicted it, and oh, but like it doesn't look like how it looks in the textbooks, like that's fine, that's what people need to hear.
Yeah, because there's all different types of it. Like I said, like, you know, I don't think looking at me you could tell I had an eating disorder. I mean, in my head at least. Some girls really look like they're struggling. You can really, you know, see their ribs and everything, and you're, you know, people are like, oh, you know, they're anorexic. But it doesn't, anorexia and all these different eating disorders, they don't look like anything, really. You know, it can look like all these different types of things. So it's kind of really hard to even know if someone's struggling with it.
Have you ever known anyone else that struggled with it? Like another person or a friend?
Not really. I had a friend who had a friend who went to, you know, one of the clinics who was, you know, a lot far deeper out than me. You know, I never felt the need to seek like inpatient treatment or anything like that. Like it was never that bad, but I know that someone that has gotten that far.
For an eating disorder?
Yeah, like gone away to a clinic for that for like however long, months and months.
At what point do people go away for that? Like, is it when they're, like, killing themselves? Like, because they're not eating, or?
I think it's when, you know, some people get to a point where they can't eat at all. And it's becoming, like, dangerous, you know. Even eating 1 meal a day, like, that can be dangerous and stuff, you know. But also, like, you know, mentally, I mean, that person probably felt that they, you know, had no other choice. Like, they needed help. They couldn't help themselves. Like, I was finally able to help myself, but it took a while. You know, it took a lot of internal battles to get there. But I think I lost my train of thought.
Well, eating disorders are also, like, such as the nature of any disorder, are usually connected to other disorders, right?
Yeah.
Like anxiety, depression, if there's some sort of trauma in some way, like a traumatic relationship, whatever, like people that have fucked up brains in many ways, you know? So that's why people that have ADHD also struggle with anxiety and depression, and anxiety and depression usually come together, and it's just like, damn,
goes hand in hand.
Yeah, I just have to get shit on 15 different times. Just give me all the disorders. I'll take them. So it's hard because it's like a feedback loop, right? Because when you're experiencing anxiety or depression, like it literally physically restricts you from eating, right? And people that have eating disorders usually struggle with those things outside of the disorder. And then if you're having anxiety or depression about your disorder, like it feels, it's like
an endless loop.
You try to put a piece of food in your mouth and you swallow it and you're like, oh my God, I feel like I'm going to throw it back up. Like it does, even though you're hungry, even though your stomach is growling and like you want to eat, it's like your mind and your body are connected.
And then it just makes you feel like shit because you're like, why can't I eat?
Yeah. And your mind is literally connected to your body. So if you're in fight or flight, like if you're in a state of anxiety, what is happening in your body is you're in fight or flight mode. It's a disorder because your body is activating fight or flight mode when you don't need it, right? And when you're in fight or flight mode, your body shuts down other less important parts, other organs that don't need to be active right now so that you can survive. Yeah. Like eating, like your stomach, like, I can't even remember if it's the parasympathetic or the sympathetic nervous system, but that activates and other things shut down so that you can focus and survive.
Yeah.
And so you can't physically eat because your body's like, no, we have to get away from the dinosaurs.
Yeah, literally.
That's where it stemmed from, right?
It's crazy because that's like, that feeling is so hard to explain because it's like, literally just eat. Just eat. Like, okay.
Well, and people that don't struggle with... God bless you. People that don't struggle with mental health disorders, it's like, I don't know... Obviously, I've never struggled with an eating disorder, but when it comes to mental health disorders... When I'm sitting there trying to explain it to someone who has not experienced it...
Oh my God, it's painful.
I'm like, bruh. Like, I don't know how to explain it to you. My brain just doesn't work right.
Yeah.
Like, you say that thing and you think it doesn't have... You think you're just saying that thing, but to me, you just triggered a whole, like, play in my head about what's going to happen now.
Yeah.
Because my brain spirals out of control, and now I can't eat for 4 days.
Yep.
Like, I don't know how to explain that to someone that hasn't experienced it, right? Also, when you don't eat, when you're not getting nutrition, because your brain is an organ and a muscle, and... When you don't eat and you're not drinking water, your brain shrinks and everything stops working as effectively. And you get even more paranoid and even more anxious and even more depressed. So it's literally like suffering.
Yep.
It's like a negative feedback loop. And that's what like so many people, I feel like, just don't understand. Is like it's a literal mind to body connection. And if your mind is not right, your body is not right.
Yeah.
And then it just fucking snowballs and then you die.
And then okay.
If you could you tell where my brain is at today? If you could tell people to stop saying to someone, like, something to someone who's struggling with an eating disorder, like, what is something that you feel like is the worst thing that they could say? Like, don't say this. If you think you're helping, you're not. Or this is not something I would say to someone that's struggling with an eating disorder.
I mean, it's just just eat, come eat with me, just eat, it's like, that's really it. And like the comments, saying you look skinny, but a lot of people don't even realize that could be an insult because a lot of people think that skinny is a compliment. But it's like, brother, it is not.
Yeah. Just basically anything that's, would you say, like, invalidating, like, kind of disregards the fact that they have, like, an eating disorder or makes it feel like they don't understand?
I mean, I've had people, not a lot of people, but I've had people say to me, you probably don't have an eating disorder. Like, you look fine. You look healthy, It's like, some people think you have to look a certain way. Like I said, it's like, just being able to validate what someone's going through and know that it's not, it's not... There's a spectrum of it, for sure. Maybe on...
If someone, like, were to find out that someone that they know is struggling with an eating disorder, what's something that they could do or say to help them?
I would just, just, I mean, even what you were doing, like inviting me to eat and like making food like an enjoyable experience, you know, like saying, oh, like let's cook together and let's, you know, let's go eat somewhere, just the two of us, or let's do this, you know, whatever makes the other person more comfortable, you know, finding out like where they could eat that would make them, like maybe they need to eat at home, maybe they need to eat with one other person, like whatever makes them most comfortable, you know. And trying to get out of your comfort zone and, you know, doing, you know, things that you don't feel comfortable with to try and get back to normal, honestly.
What advice would you give to someone who's currently struggling with an eating disorder? So not the people around them, but them themselves.
I honestly think that it is something that will never fully go away. So I think if you're going through it right now, just know that you'll get out the other side, and it does get better, honestly. Like, just like working on bettering yourself and trying to include healthier habits into your routine, like things that, and doing things that like you enjoy will just be, honestly, like just doing more fulfilling things in life, like make it easier to like eat and do other things, like just making sure that you're living your life. Because for a while I wasn't really living and I wasn't going out and doing these things. So now that I have things to do and I have a routine, and you know, I just think it takes time. It takes time, but at the end of the day,
You're not alone.
you really aren't. Honestly, having a good support system is everything, because I don't know what I would have done without my friends and family and all that. My therapist, love her queen. Shout out.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to add that I didn't already cover?
I don't think so. I think
All right, pretty much it.
we
all
had
right.
a good convo here.
All right, Sarah. Thank you for bearing your soul on my podcast.
Yep.
If you guys have any other questions or want to continue the conversation with Sarah, I will have her contact information available on all of my social media channels. And I will see you again in 2 weeks to talk more elephants.